Carl Jung, the psychologist, once said that we already know everything. And I think in this modern age, as we delve deeper into the subconscious, we become more interested in finding out how we are manifestations of the ultimate energy that created all things.
The rules and regulations, like I said, it just seems so contrived that, you know, a guy or a couple of guys sat down and wrote this in order to enslave their fellow man, and especially their fellow woman, as a matter of fact.
God tells us in our holy book that Islam will be the last religion, and the Prophet Muhammad the last messenger. That's why he put in the Islam all what the people know or need to know.
In fact, we say that God wrote the Torah, word for word, letter by letter. But at the same time, we say that Moses wrote it down on a piece of paper. So how is it? Did Moses write it or did God write it? So the way we understand it is Moses was such a perfect vessel. He was so humble that he was just the pen. It was really God that wrote it, and he used him as the vehicle to express it in this world.
If you read from Isaiah, you read how Jesus Christ was supposed to die, how the Messiah was supposed to die, and then you jump back to John and see how he died. They concord exactly alike. It is impossible for somebody to just have made this stuff up. This was made through God, by man.
We read the Kibra Nigras, and that's from before the Bible. The Kibra Nigras is history, and I'm sure you heard about Queen of Sheba. Queen of Sheba is in the Kibra Nigras, and she had a son for Solomon, which was Menelik I, which Israel made a plot never to tell us about the Kibra Nigras and about Menelik, and, you know, really black history. That's what it is, that been omitted from their books. You understand? This is a history from before year one.
And I say, fine, pray for anything you want, pray for anything, but what about the divine plan? Remember that? The divine plan. Long time ago, God made a divine plan, gave it a lot of thought, decided it was a good plan, put it into practice. And for billions and billions of years, the divine plan has been doing just fine. Now you come along and pray for something. Well, suppose the thing you want isn't in God's divine plan. What do you want him to do? Change his plan? Just for you? Doesn't it seem a little arrogant? It's a divine plan. What's the use of being God if every rundown schmuck with a $2 prayer book can come along and fuck up your plan? And here's something else, another problem you might have. Suppose your prayers aren't answered. What do you say? Well, it's God's will. Thy will be done. Fine, but if it's God's will and he's going to do what he wants to anyway, why the fuck bother praying in the first place? Seems like a big waste of time to me. Couldn't you just skip the praying part and go right to his will? It's all very confusing.
You know, a lot of people that believe in God believe that God knows everything and he knows what's going to happen in your life. And to me, that just seems so empty, to have a life that is planned out already.
Those choices are there. That's what makes life fun. If you had only one way to go, all are destined to go and forced to go in one way, life wouldn't be fun.
Choice is a 50-50 playing field all the time. And that is the struggle of life, is to choose the godly choice more often than the non-godly choice. And that's how we understand free will. That free will exists all the time. And I'll just explain it to you and how we understand it. God, again, as we said, the name Yud-He-Vav-He is an expression of his timelessness and that he's beyond physicality, that he's infinite. So for an infinite being, you're not bound by time. You're outside of time. Therefore, for an infinite being, all time exists, so to speak, at the same time, because there isn't time. It's like if you look at a picture, the time is just happening at the same time for him. So at the same time that in our physical world we experience free choice, God knows what we're going to choose because he doesn't live bound by time.
But the ultimate destiny that you cannot avoid. You are destined to become one with God. How long does it take? Time is relative. If you possess God's mind, millions of years is 1 second. Time is relative. How long does it take?
I've heard so many stories, about they move and they dance and their arms raise up all, that's kind of wives' tale, this talk. But there's movement, depending on, the decomposition. You might get a little flinch maybe, or the muscle when you're embalming, or the arm might, you might get, but you have to be ready for that. But, that can scare the hell out of you if you're not really ready for that.
After we die, after we leave this body, something else will be manifest. What that is, how it will manifest, how long it will last, or what, I really don't know. And I don't really see the usefulness of speculating about what that's going to be, because there's no way to know.
The Neolithic cavemen did have burial rituals where they buried those people with their belongings and with talisman symbols to take them to the other place. So they did not believe life was ended when you expired here on earth.
When the person dies, I think there's a part of the spirit that elevates and it moves, and there's a part that's still there. So I guess the part that is there is what I really kind of associate and kind of link to the energy of the body more than the spirit. But I think that the major part of that is extracted and pulled on with God.
This is only conjecture, because I haven't experienced this and I don't know. What I've been taught in Judaism is that we have a part of us that is pure, that is infinite, that's godliness, that's part of God. It's called our soul. So when it leaves the body is made up of physicality. So it needs to be purified to return back to the infiniteness. That purification process, depending on how the soul conducted itself, is a different process for each and every soul. But souls only go back to their original godliness, purified.
Your mind survives. The body dies. Your nervous system degenerates. Your brain is finished. But brain and nervous system are not the mind. Your mind is like energy, electric energy passing through wires. Suppose in your house your electrical system has been destroyed. That has nothing to do with the FPL. That energy goes on flowing. Similarly, when a person dies, the electrical system within you, the nervous system is destroyed. But the source of that continues. That source, the mind that survives, that mind can create another body, depending upon what we come as karmas. Mind survives. The soul survives. As long as there is mind, there is a soul.